Hi, this is Chris Stewart of Casting Nets Ministries, and I wanted to just talk about our saint of the day. There's actually two today, but I'm going to focus on one of them, and that is Saint Margaret of Scotland. She lived during the 11th century, and while she is named of Scotland, she is actually from England. It's an amazing story. Her family actually had to flee England, got in a boat to escape from William the Conqueror. And while Scotland was not actually their destination, their boat ended up kind of crashing there, or ended up there because of the storm. And there, King Malcolm III, a Scottish king, welcomed the family, protected the family, and fell in love with this princess, Margaret. He took her in, and her desire was not just simply to win his heart, but to actually win him for Christ, who she loved so much. And while Malcolm was a great example of Scotland at the time, especially versus England, he wasn't as refined, as cultured, as civilized. She won him over. She taught him how to pray in the depths of his heart, and he fell in love with her. And more importantly, he fell in love with what she loved. He would even take her books that he would see him reading. He'd sneak them away, put jewels and gold on them, and then return them to her. It's an amazing story, but what I love is that she is such a great example of what I have called one of the 7 characteristics of an effective evangelist, and that is being charitable. Her and her husband Malcolm would actually welcome in the homeless and the poor before they ate their own meals. It is said that Margaret would, before every meal, would feed 9 orphans and 24 homeless before she ever ate. What a great example. But ultimately, her best evangelization was, in fact, her husband, Malcolm. Between the two of them, they built churches everywhere. But I want to ask you this. Who is your King Malcolm? Who are you going to be able to reach to? I want to share this quote from Pope Francis in Evangelization Gaudium. He says this: "For the measure you give will be the measure you get back." What these passages make clear is the absolute priority of going forth from ourselves towards our brothers and sisters. As one of the 2 great commandments which ground every moral norm, and as the clearest sign of discerning spiritual growth in the response to God's completely free gift. For this reason, the service of charity is also a constituent element of the Church's mission, and an indispensable expression of her very being. By her very nature, the Church is missionary. Who are we going to go out to? And what I want to really say about this Malcolm, King of Scotland, who Margaret so effectively reached, is that I would propose this. I would actually say that there was probably nobody on the planet who was going to reach Malcolm and bring him to faith and to bring him to Christ like that Margaret did. And I am confident that there are people in your life, people that God is going to bring to you that only you can reach. Just like Malcolm, only Margaret could reach him. Well, who is that? Who are you going to love into a relationship with Jesus Christ? Who are you going to love them so much that they are going to come to his church? So I actually write about this story of Saint Margaret of Scotland in my newest book, Casting Nets with the Saints. Learn from the best how to share your faith. And I share her story as well as over 50 other stories about the saints and how they evangelize. So please check that out, Casting Nets with the Saints, and Saint Margaret of Scotland, pray for us. Remember to keep casting your nets out into the deep.